Yes, now I bring you to the project Smart Blending of Enhanced Efficiency Fertilizers to maximize sugarcane profitability. Sorry, I can't get there to join the bigger program Get Together, which is so precious in these days. My best wishes to all who have been able to get to Cairns and enjoy all the discussions, interactions, and whatever Cairns has to offer. I'm glad my colleague Stephen Reeves is there. Stephen has got a lot of knowledge of this project. So if any of you got any questions or interested in any aspects of this project, please feel free to talk to Stephen. This project was funded by several organizations, including federal and state government agencies and industry partners. So on behalf of the project team, I thank all these organizations for their support that made this research possible. I would also like to acknowledge the amazing team from 6 organizations: Department of Environment and Science, that's my organization; HCPSL, that's industry service organization based in Ying'an; and TRIPE, CRISA, based at Italy. CRISA is online today, and the DAF, Department of Agriculture and Forestry, part of the Queensland government, and a pharmacist based at Mackay. In addition to the colleagues listed here, at least another 20 to 30 people contributed considerably in various project activities at different stages. So a big thank you to everyone. In particular, I would like to thank Dr. Phil Moody, who was our longtime group leader and a passionate supporter to this project. The main objectives of this project were to assess the potential benefits of nitrification inhibitor coated urea, or Ni+U, I call it, and polymer coated urea, PCU, as a means to increase sugar yield, nitrogen use efficiency, and profitability. Also, we wanted to investigate if Ni+U and PC+U blend could decrease nitrate leaching compared to normal urea, and whether we wanted to develop a decision support tool for growers or industry advisors to assist with the product selection. The major research questions we wanted to answer include how the PCU nitrogen release dynamics relate to soil properties, rainfall or temperature in different regions. What is the most desirable PCU formulation to best match fertilizer nitrogen supply to crop nitrogen demand? Is there an optimum blending ratio of PCU and normal urea under different site and weather conditions? What are the environmental benefits of EEFs? We had 6 field trial sites in the major sugarcane growing regions along the east coast of Queensland, with a main focus in the West Tropics, based on the hypothesis that EEFs should perform better in regions with high nitrogen loss risks, as Lucas just mentioned. And the 6 sites covered 6 different soil types with diverse properties, such as clay contents, pH, and organic carbon contents. And the mean annual rainfall ranged from 1,000 to 4,000 millimeter per year. So it's a big range. The field trials were run over 3 cropping seasons from 2016 to 2019. Because of the limited time for this presentation, I may not be able to show the results from all sites in some cases. Therefore, I will use the London coast side in the north and the Bundaberg side in the south as examples. 12 treatments were assessed at each site with an unfertilized control and 3 types of urea, including normal urea, Ni plus U, and PCU. For PCU, we used 3 different blending ratios to urea, 25%, 50%, and 75%, as a means to reduce fertilizer cost. We also compared the 2 nitrogen application rates, 6 easy step rate, which is the industry recommended nitrogen application rate, and a suboptimal nitrogen rate, which is 75% of the 6 ES rate. And in addition to that, we use 125% of 6 ES rate for normal urea, just to test whether the 6 ES rate is just right. All nitrogen fertilizer was applied in band and buried 10 centimeters below the surface. In addition, soil tests were conducted before establishing the trials. And if any other nutrients, such as phosphorus or potassium, were deficient, and fertilizer would be applied. During the crop growing season, we measured plant biomass and nitrogen uptake, as well as soil mineral nitrogen dynamics. At harvest of each cropping season, cane and sugar yield and crop nitrogen uptake were determined, and economic analysis were conducted to assess profitability for different treatments. In addition, we studied the PCU nitrogen release dynamics under field conditions using mesh bags. The method used was pretty simple, but served for the purpose nicely, as I will show you later. The mesh bags containing PCU were buried just 10 centimeters below the soil surface, as same as normal fertilizers. The mesh bags were sampled fortnightly, monthly, and then bi-monthly, roughly. Nitrogen release was estimated from the weight loss of the polymer-coated urea, which was pre-tested and against nitrogen loss, calibrated against nitrogen loss. Here are the results from the mesh bag studies in the season 2017 to 18, which I showed in previous forums. Basically, we found no significant differences in the nitrogen release dynamics among different sites, from a PCU product called AgroMaster Topical with 40% nitrogen content. This is labeled as a 4-month nitrogen release product. This was in spite of substantial differences in the soil properties, as shown in a previous slide, and in rainfall, but relatively small differences in air temperature among different sites. These findings were sort of unexpected, because we know nitrogen release from PCU can be affected by temperature, as Deli mentioned, and sometimes by soil water content, based on mostly laboratory incubation studies, where the temperatures used for comparison differed generally by 5 to 20 degrees. So a couple of questions were raised from these results. The first was the lack of significant differences in PCU nitrogen release among different sites due to smaller differences in soil temperature than air temperature? And secondly, was this finding specific to the PCU products tested, or also valid to other PCU products? So consequently, we measure the daily mean soil temperature and air temperature in the next season at 5 sites. While occasionally soil they differed by a few degrees. Overall, the relationship of daily mean soil temperature to daily mean air temperature was very close to the 1-to-1 line. Importantly, we found no much differences in the cumulative air temperatures in the first 4 months at different sites. Similar degree days based on soil temperature were also observed. And about 80% of the PCU nitrogen was released during the first 4 months. Because the cumulative nitrogen or soil temperatures were similar in the different regions tested during this time period, so time can predict PCU nitrogen release just as accurately as degree days. And this was further confirmed by the results in the 2018 and 19 season. This time, we included 4 different PCU products. Yet, with 22% nitrogen content, AgroMaster Standard with 45% nitrogen. This is a 3-month release product, and AgroMaster Tropical with 41% nitrogen. This is 3-month release product, and AgroMaster Tropical 44% nitrogen. Each product was incubated at 3 to 4 sites, 2 to 3 sites. Again, no significant differences in nitrogen release dynamics were found between different sites for any product. And there were no differences in the goodness of prediction using time only or using temperature, soil temperature degree days. So these findings are quite useful for developing PCU management strategies to better synchronize the fertilizer nitrogen supply with the crop nitrogen demand, which I will show you. I will talk in detail in the Soils Conference on Thursday. This slide shows the effectiveness of nitrification inhibitor, the MPP, at 2 contrasting sites. The Banderberg site, the soil has a pretty strong nitrification capacity, as indicated by the lower percentage of ammonium in the mineral nitrogen pool. And here, the nitrification inhibitor was quite effective. And the nitrification inhibitor was effective for about 1 to 1.5 months. At the Liner Coast site, the soil had a much weaker nitrification capacity, as indicated as a higher percentage of ammonium in the mineral nitrogen pool. And therefore, nitrogen inhibitor was less beneficial here. Here are the dynamics of soil mineral nitrogen in the top 20 centimeter depth. Lots of data points, but I would like to have your attention to those highlighted in the blue circles, where you can see soil mineral nitrogen in the urea or Ni plus U treatment mostly disappeared by the mid-cropping season, while the PCU treatment maintained high mineral nitrogen levels in the mid to late season, which was similar to what Lucas just reported. And the black or gray colored urea treatments had a greater risk of nitrate leaching into deep soil than the reddish colored PCU treatments and the green colored Ni plus U treatments. By the way, I would like to show you some results from our previous studies on the efficacy of Ni for mitigating nitrous oxide emissions from sugarcane farms, with an aim to give a whole picture in terms of this product's environmental benefits. As you can see, it is pretty clear that Ni plus U treatment consistently reduced nitrous oxide emissions compared to normal urea. So because all the dotted lines are below the 1-to-1 line. However, the potential environmental benefits of EEFs did not always translate into higher cane or sugar yield, which was similar to what Lucas has just reported. And this was true for both Ni plus U and PCU and urea blends, as well as for different PCU to urea blending ratios. And similar trends were found for plant nitrogen uptake, as well as for cane yield and profitability, which I will not repeat here. But for plant nitrogen uptake, it seems for some treatments, like a 70%, 75% PCU blend, we tend to get more data points above the 1-to-1 line. It means the PCU products tends to increase nitrogen uptake in most cases compared to urea. And in summary, the main industry knowledge and understanding obtained from this project, including that nitrogen release dynamics from PCU are similar across Queensland cane growing regions and can be accurately predicted with time. And the duration of nitrogen supply is greater for PCU than normal urea and Ni plus U. The nitrogen leaching risk is smaller for PCU than Ni plus U, and which is further smaller than normal urea. The MPP can slow down nitrification for 1 to 1.5 months in Queensland sugarcane cropping systems, and this is consistent with findings in previous studies that Ni can significantly reduce nitrous oxide emissions from sugarcane farms. The MPP is more beneficial for soils with greater nitrification capacity, and yield responses to EFs and thus profitability vary with site and weather conditions. EFs are more suitable for farms with high nitrogen loss risks and no other constraints than nitrogen. Based on these findings and existing knowledge, we developed a decision support tree to assist growers in selecting nitrogen fertilizer types. It consists of a series of questions and yes or no answers. This diagram is only a simplified version, and a user's manual is available to be used and should be used in combination with this diagram. In addition, the final report was published in the websites of More Profit from Nitrogen Program and Sugar Research Australia. We did 22 field days, bus tours, shed meetings, or industry workshops with about 750 participants. We also delivered 5 presentations in the RD and E workshops and meetings with about 180 participants. And in addition, we reported in industry newsletters and fact sheets, etc. And the major findings from this project will be incorporated into the industry nitrogen management guidelines, which is 6 easy steps. Thank you.